Good evening everyone, Mike Palmer from Know Your Rights Group and Success Coaching International with another very important live video update tonight. So the whole country has now been put one big step behind due to good old Dictator Dan in Victoria and his complete and utter incompetence. Now, let's not forget, this is the guy that stood up proudly just a few months ago, okay, or maybe even less than that. Now, ScoMo came out and said, all right, we need to kickstart the economy and we need to get the country back on track. And Dictator Dan stood there defiant saying, no, nothing changes here in Victoria until I say so. Now, have a look what he's done since then. He tried to make a name for himself. Well, he's well and truly made a name for himself. He's completely botched up the whole thing for the whole country. Okay, he allowed private security guys to be in charge of the whole quarantine situation. These are people with little to no training, okay, that went out and had cigarettes and shared cigarette lighters and allegedly even slept with some of the people staying in these quarantine hotels. How on earth did he allow that to happen? Now, hang on a minute. I think I've just missed something. Weren't we told months and months ago that our borders were closed, that there were no flights going in or out? Weren't we also told that quarantine is for 14 days? So who, after 2 months, are all these people still staying in these quarantine hotels? It just doesn't add up. But at the end of the day, anyone who runs a company or a business knows that the buck stops at the top. Okay, the buck stops at the top. So, Dictator Dan, the buck stops with you, and it's time for you to step aside and let somebody competent step up and take charge. And no, I'm certainly not putting my hand up, okay, but Ronald McDonald and Kermit the Frog come to mind. Even they could do a better job than what Dictator Dan has done, okay? It is absolutely out of control. Okay, he needs to step aside, and people in Victoria, and in fact in all states around the country, need to step up and fight back against this madness. Okay, it is out of control. All right, now our illustrious leader ScoMo, okay, he's talking about a $10 billion plan, okay, to try and get everything back on track and get everything up and running again. But listen to this. This is what the media said about this plan. It was there to help businesses stay alive or to exit with dignity. What the hell is that? How does a business failing, going bankrupt, and therefore generally the family members of that, of the owner of that business also going bankrupt, how does that happen with dignity? I fail to understand that. Okay, maybe it's just me, maybe I'm stupid, maybe I've got corona of the brain or something, who knows? Okay, but it just doesn't add up. And hang on a minute, where is this $10 billion coming from? Has anybody bothered to ask that question? Who is ultimately going to pay for this stimulus package? Okay, we need to be asking that. And we need to say, no, enough of this madness. Enough is enough, okay? Now, some states, indeed, they absolutely are experiencing some easing of restrictions, okay? And they're enjoying that and they're saying that's great. But it's all based around a false economy. Now, have a look at Queensland, for example. They've still closed the borders to Victorians. Okay, so the whole Mexican migration that usually happens in winter at this time of the year is not happening. It is absolutely killing the Queensland tourism industry. Now you've got other states where pubs are starting to open up. You've got restaurants opening up to more people. Okay, but it's still nowhere near enough to make those businesses viable. They just can't survive with a maximum of 50 or 100 people in them. Okay, look, sure, it's great for right now while most of their staff are still on JobKeeper, while a lot of people are still enjoying these rent-free periods or rent-reduced periods. But what's going to happen when all of that stops? The whole economy is going to come to a grinding halt, and people can't think more than 2 steps ahead and see what's actually coming. And it's so frustrating because anyone who's awake can see it as clear as the light of day. Okay, they're trying to build up this false economy and it's all going to collapse in a great big smelly heap. All right, we need to understand this. Now again, look what happened in Victoria. They eased the restrictions and then lo and behold, there was this spike in corona cases, okay, and the whole thing's been shut down. So much so that they've now locked down actual suburbs, and as I'm sure anyone who's watching this has seen on the news, they're now actually locking down, actual apartment blocks with thousands of people in them. But again, go and look at the media reports. Have a look at the photos of all the police, the thousands of police that are standing there, okay, at the base of these, huge apartment blocks, and there's not one single police officer wearing a mask, wearing gloves, wearing any kind of protective equipment. If this doesn't show you, if this doesn't demonstrate that the whole thing is one great big scam, okay, I don't know what does. Now look, I know there's people out there thinking, well look, some of these people are a little bit questionable and maybe they should be locked down because there have been some cases there and all the rest of it. Yeah, but that's great. But that doesn't make it right. Remember, quarantine is only for sick people. Where is the evidence that those thousands of people in those apartment blocks are actually sick? Okay, you cannot lawfully quarantine healthy people. Okay, it's just not right. Now, even the World Health Organization has come out and said that basically there is no transference of this virus from asymptomatic people. So they claim that there's 30 or 40 people that have got it. Okay, what about the other few thousand? Okay, you can't just lock them down. And how are they figuring out this 30 or 40 people? How are they ascertaining that with these tests? Okay, now, the media have said that some people are claiming that the coronavirus is a conspiracy. Now, I'm not going to tell you what it is or it isn't. That's for you guys to research and figure out for yourselves. But I can certainly tell you some things don't add up. Now, I'm going to direct you to another article, and this is entitled, COVID-19 PCR tests are scientifically meaningless. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's really detailed and it goes into a fantastic explanation of it. But I want you to be aware of this. Okay, though the whole world relies on RT-PCR to diagnose SARS-CoV-2 infection, the science is clear. They are not fit for purpose. Lockdowns and hygienic measures around the world are based on numbers of cases and mortality rates created by the so-called SARS-CoV-2 RT-PCR tests used to identify positive patients, whereby positive is usually equated with infected. But looking closely at the facts, the conclusion is that these PCR tests are meaningless as a diagnostic tool to determine an alleged infection by a supposedly new virus called SARS-CoV-2. Okay? Test, test, test. That's all they're talking about. But the actual guy that created the PCR test, okay, he got a Nobel Peace Prize, Nobel Prize in chemistry for it, okay, regarded the PCR as inappropriate to detect a viral infection. Please go and read this article. It's extremely detailed. It's way more technical than I can explain to you here. Again, it's called COVID-19 PCR tests are scientifically meaningless. Now, these are the tests that they are using to establish the numbers that they rely on to lock people down. It's just blatantly wrong. Go back and look at the video that I did just on Thursday night. Okay, I covered there why our government has categorically stated there are no 100% accurate tests for COVID-19 here in Australia. I also shared with everybody the Channel 7 news report, okay, where they did tests on a pawpaw and a goat and motor oil and a bunch of other things, and they all came back positive for COVID-19. The testing that they are using is completely meaningless. And now we've got an actual scientific report stating exactly that as well. So yes, people see these media articles, they get all fired up and they go, oh, well, look, these, lower socioeconomic people in these, commission housing blocks, and, a lot of them are immigrants, and, and they get all emotionally stirred up by the media. And that, of course, is exactly what the purpose of the media is to do. It's to, propagate, all right, the elite point, which is to divide and conquer. They want us all fighting each other. Okay, rather than turning our attention on them, saying, why are you killing us? Why are you destroying us economically? That's what we should be focusing on, not on an apartment block of people. We should be focusing on why the government still takes all the actions that it's taking based on scientifically meaningless tests. Okay, if you are sitting here, standing here, watching this video now, and you still don't get that this whole pandemic is one big scam for control of the people, if you are still not prepared for the economic Armageddon that is coming, please get out and do some serious research. Okay, you need to get your head around this. We have released over 40 different videos, both on our Facebook channel and also on our YouTube channel. Go back, spend some time, look through those and get your head around this information so you understand the truth about what is really going on. Now that this second wave is well and truly upon us, there's a whole new group of people coming in and you know, becoming awake to what's happening. The challenge is that they're asking us all the same questions that we've answered many times before. How do I deal with the police? How do I avoid a fine? What do I say when they tell me I have to get tested? All these things, they've all been answered on our radio shows and in our recent live video updates. Please go to our website, go to our YouTube channel and look those up. All right, stop sending us the same questions again and again that have already been answered. The information's out there, but you've got to go and learn it. And look, once you've got your head around that, once you've watched those videos, once you've listened to those radio shows, if you're ready to take your understanding and knowledge of these things to the next level, please, at the very least, grab the essential step-by-step manual for understanding your rights. Grab this book. It's got all of the background, all of the information that you need to start drafting letters, which is the first point of action for you to take to start challenging the authorities, challenging the police, challenging our government on all these insane systems. Okay, if you have received the fine and you want to know how to challenge it, get the Aussie speeding fines. Yes, it's directed towards traffic fines, but it can be edited and adjusted to suit any type of fines. Okay, there's links to all of these in the description on this video. And look, if you're like most people and you're really starting to hurt right now financially, don't wait until you've got the debt collector letters. Don't wait till you're in default. Grab this book, grab the Bank Secrets Revealed book now. Get your head around the information so you're prepared for the inevitable before it happens and you're ready for it. Okay, so there's plenty of information up online. Plenty of information on the websites, plenty of information in our videos, and of course, plenty of information in our books. So please use this time wisely. Get informed, get fired up, and of course, then get proactive. So I'm going to leave it there for tonight. We'll talk to you all again on our radio show between 8 and 10 p.m. and that's Australian Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday night. Just go to our radio show page, click on the Listen Live button, and we'll have a ton more information for you then. Thanks and have a great night.